Welcome back to Nerd News Today. I'm Matthew, and in this episode we are taking a look at our very first piece of G.I. Joe merchandise, not from Hasbro, but from Diamond Select. It was announced last year that Diamond Select would now have the rights to make some stuff based on certain Hasbro properties, including G.I. Joe and Transformers, possibly a few others we'll see down the line, but we know for sure G.I. Joe and Transformers. And previously, we did in fact look at the Transformers mini-mates that came out back in the fall. Now we finally have our first look at what they're doing with G.I. Joe, and they're starting things off here with some PVC figure dioramas, also known as PVC statues, but whatever. But today, like I mentioned, we have our very first piece from G.I. Joe from this company here, and I'm really happy to say that it is of Destro, one of my favorite characters in the G.I. Joe series, and a dude that is really toyetic. I mean, when you use the word toyetic, I think of Destro, and that's why I'm very excited to see what they're going to be doing with a character like this, especially in this PVC figure diorama format. So let's go ahead and talk about the packaging here real quick before we take him out of the box. And that packaging here is basically identical to what you've gotten with any Diamond Select PVC figure diorama that you may have bought in the past. And it's always very nice, simple packaging. It's always in this really cool box. And that box has, like always, 3 windows. One very large window on the front, a window on each side, left and right, and of course, the handy-dandy Diamond Select sunroof. What stands out in this packaging here is that it is very similar to a G.I. Joe action figure, and I mean the original G.I. Joe action figures. So you've got the classic Joe logo, you've got the Cobra enemy sticker on the front of it as well, and you have that giant explosion effect, which I always loved as a kid, and it really makes this thing pop and stand out. Like, this really feels like it's part of the G.I. Joe universe, and I'm really happy they kept that look. But it also still remains pretty classy and keeps it in that world of how Diamond Select does all of their packaging, so hats off to them for doing that. The back of the box has a really nice bio here about Destro. Bios are something that I get really nitpicky about, but I think this one really stands out and looks good here. Has a lot of information, throws us right into the world of G.I. Joe, so yeah, great job on that. It has a really great photo of what the statue is going to look like out of the packaging, which looks really cool, and I didn't really even know about some of the stuff that was there, so that excites me even more. But most importantly, the back of the box lets us know that this was designed by Mark Wong and Tony Simeone, and sculpted by Jorge Santos Souza, a trio of names that I'm not too familiar with. I don't think any of these folks have worked on any other Diamond Select properties that we've looked at so far, but I'm definitely excited to see their work for the very first time today. Very curious, wondering if they're going to be continuing throughout the entire Joe line, but that'll be, I guess, something we'll have to resolve much further into the future. So for now, let's go ahead and get this Destro out of the packaging and take a closer look at him from all angles. And here we go, our Destro is now out of the box. So let's take a closer look at this very impressive PVC statue. Like, this really is actually quite impressive out of the box. Again, like I mentioned, this is my first time seeing the work from this team that designed and sculpted this statue, and I'm blown away. Like, wow, this to me screams G.I. Joe. They have absolutely captured the essence of G.I. Joe in the entirety of the statue, and oh man, just even as just a statue from a collector standpoint, this is really great. Actually, before I go zoom in closer and take a better look at this thing, there's actually one piece that's currently missing from it, and I actually will zoom in just a little bit to give you guys a better look at it as it goes in. But yeah, let's go ahead and zoom in on that fist over here. So what's missing is this little piece. This is a missile that's supposed to attach to our Destro, and you can see it's like basically launching from his thing over here. So let us see, I believe it goes right on top of this. There you go, snaps on nice and easy. Check out that missile. That looks amazing. Wow. This is really cool. I love that it's got this little like sidewinder effect on it too. That is some top-notch stuff right there, folks. Like, this missile is so awesome looking. Wow. I don't really know if my camera work is doing justice for it, but trust me, you guys, this is a great looking piece here. So let's go ahead and just zoom back out. You can see, like, man, I can just do this all day and just play with this aperture and have a fun time with that missile. But let's just go ahead and start talking about some of the other finer details on this piece here. Where do I even begin? Well, let's start with the head, because that's usually where I like to start with these things here. So, does this look like Destro? And I would say yes. This totally has the chrome dome look of Destro, which is really nice. That head is very good looking here. Good, sharp, angular face like a Destro character piece should have. I like that he has the necklace. Of course, he always had to have that amulet around his neck. I mean, you know, in terms of like a likeness, there isn't necessarily a likeness for Destro because he is just a giant metal head face guy, whatever. But, you know, I think it looks just like him. I think they got, or at least in my head, you know, what I think a Destro should be like. I think they got it. They nailed this. So hats off to them. Totally got that. Let's move on now to the outfit a little bit more in depth. And, you know, again, this is mostly a black outfit here, but it's not just plain black. There's a lot of texture and things going on in it. You guys can see here on the sides, there's this kind of like nice pattern. Reminds you almost of like the leather outfits they wore in the X-Men movies from, you know, way back when the X-Men movies first began. Kind of reminds you a little bit of that effect, but just very nice how it's all clinging to the body. This team has a really good idea of their anatomy. They've definitely nailed that part here. Just the way the clothes are sticking and the muscles are standing out. I mean, you know, because this is a G.I. Joe piece after all, you got to have some giant muscles in it, or else it's not really a G.I. Joe piece. But they definitely got it here. And one thing I like too is just all the foreshortening that this piece creates here. I mean, there's a lot of interesting angles here you don't normally get with a statue, at least from Diamond. And that's actually one of the big things I think I want to point out more than anything else, because to me, like, this piece screams action. Like, this whole thing here is so action-packed. There's a lot going on with this piece here. It's not just standing up straight. It's not just that he's posing in something really dramatic. He's like actually on the run, and you get that sense of movement here with this piece. There's a lot of energy going on in the water. I mean, check out just how much impact is right now in this water splashing around. What I think is actually really cool, see how close I can zoom in on this, is this foot that's standing in the air, there's actually a little bit of water on it. Like, that's really cool. There's a ripple where his foot just came up. There is so much motion going on here. And not to be outdone by that too, there's also this section of water coming out, which I assume is going to be bullets being shot at him from somebody. There's so much motion. I mean, even back here, if we check out the water that's coming out of this open pipe area over here, yeah, I mean, even that is flowing and moving, and that's so cool. And just, by the way, the whole base in general is really awesome looking. Like, this water is, I think, some of the best water they've done since, like, the Godzilla piece I reviewed probably 2 years ago, which was him basically bursting out of the water. This is just as dynamic, if not more so, because there's so much happening in this base. And of course, too, what's right behind him is this brick wall with all the pipes and things like that. That's also really, really just wonderfully sculpted. Great detail. I would love that for like a 6-inch action figure. Like, they really need to make these dioramas and give them to us for, for the action figures. Another really cool little detail that's part of this base is what is right next to Destro's head, and that is a Cobra Bat Trooper's helmet, and it's partially broken. A nice little detail, great little nod. Hopefully we get a Bat Trooper in this lineup as well. I'd really love to see what they do with him. But yeah, good details all around. Man, let's check this out from behind too. How good looking is this base? I mean, wow. I know I should be focusing on the actual statue of Destro, but, you know, I'm a sucker for a good base. Let's talk about this briefcase too. I love this little briefcase over here. It's got the Cobra logo on it. Really just a nice looking piece. Spend some more time too on Destro's back. I mean, this is a guy that has not missed a workout day anytime soon. Look at the musculature in him. Like, man, this is so good. So dynamic. It's so tense. And it's also proportionate, which is very important to have. It's fairly proportionate. You know, he does have a little bit of a back bend going on here. It's almost kind of like a dancer pose when you look at it from certain angles. Like, it actually reads more like a dancer pose for it or something like that. But it still has a lot of strength, a lot of dynamic posing here. Just really solid piece all around. Cannot get over this one. This is a good one here, folks. Now, in terms of paint detail, you know that normally Diamond does try to keep the things, you know, fairly simple and simplistic. And in this case, the main colors we're seeing are black and red and silver. And, you know, you can see it here. It's working very nicely. It all spreads around your eye really easily. Good detailing on, you know, the belt, the holster, the belt buckle. Amulet's looking good too. All that is good. And for the most part, it's pretty clean. And I also like how it's got a little bit of a weathered effect too in some of the metallic parts on his gloves and his gauntlets there. One thing that is kind of weak, unfortunately, will be his chest area, which, you know, the exposed chest area. There is a little bit of slop going on there, and well, when I say a little bit, there's kind of a lot of slopping going on in there. You guys probably noticed it earlier, but there's like a little bit of some red over here, a little bit of some black bits over there. The flesh part is a little bit messy, unfortunately. But luckily, because of how you're going to probably be posing him, which will be off to the side, like this a little bit more, you're not going to really notice it as much, because you're going to be busy looking at everything else, and there is a lot more to look at here with this piece after all. All things considered, for Diamond Select's first outing with a G.I. Joe character in statue form, I think they really nailed this. This is a perfect piece. I really don't have anything to complain about. I mean, even my complaint about the paint that's on his exposed chest, I really don't care that much about it. I gotta be perfectly honest with you guys, because everything else around it is so great. There's just so much energy in the piece, so much weight and gravity, and just like the awesome explosion effect. That's such a G.I. Joe thing. Like, that's so cool. They really captured just what I think of when I want a G.I. Joe piece. Like, I want it to be action-packed, some great storytelling, awesome posing, and they got that here. This is it. Like, this is everything you wanted in a G.I. Joe statue. And best of all, it's only $50, folks. I think it's 50, maybe 60. I'm not quite sure what their prices are right now. They've changed them since the pandemic. But, you know, for all things considered, what you're getting here, it's a very nice piece. I will say it's, you know, with diamond pieces, the PVC stuff, they tend to, like, vary in size. And depending on what the character is and how much is going on in the base, that will affect how big it is. This piece is a little bit on the smaller side compared to other statues. That's also because he's not standing straight up. He is standing on this angle here. So as far as like height goes, he's not super big. I don't think this is more than like 8 inches maybe. So as far as like size goes, I don't really have a G.I. Joe classified at the ready to show you guys, but here's just a Marvel Legends Deathlock figure. He's about 6 inches. So yeah, I would say this statue is about like 8 inches tall. You know, normally we've seen these statues get bigger, and I would actually love it if he was bigger, but that clearly would affect the price because there's a lot going on here. So to me, the big thing is, are they going to keep all their statues in the same uniform size? Well, we'll have to find out whenever the next statue comes out. I don't really know what it is. I don't remember if they've announced it yet at this time. But you know this is going to be a big, big line. We got to get a Snake Eyes. We got to get a Cobra Commander. There's Scarlet. I mean, there's so many names we can go on and on with this. There's a lot of potential for this line, and if they all are as dynamic and gorgeous as this piece here, then I am totally, completely, 100% sold on the G.I. Joe lineup. So there you guys have it. That is our first ever look at a G.I. Joe statue from Diamond Select, one of their PVC diorama statues. I love this thing. It's amazing. I can keep raving on and on about it, but really, you should just buy this for yourself. If you're a G.I. Joe fan, this is a must-have. And just objectively, head to toe, as an art piece, as a statue, this thing has it all. It's one of the best pieces they've done. Kind of happy we're ending our year looking at this piece because, I mean, wow, this is just one of the highlights of 2021 for Diamond Select. And I'm assuming that 2022 is going to be just as good, if not better. So, yeah, do not miss out on this Destro. Get them while you can, and I have high expectations for the rest of the series. So that's our look at the G.I. Joe Destro statue from Diamond Select. If you want to pick this up for yourself, go ahead and check out our description of this YouTube video. We're going to have links for where you can buy it. And if you use those links to buy this statue or anything else that we put up there, it helps out this channel a great deal at no extra cost to you. So until next time, I'm Matthew. This has been Nerd News Today. We'll see you guys later, and until then, Yo Joe.